Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She is coming straight from the Berg. She's frozen, but she likes it that way. She is Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm freezing, but I want to be freezing. I don't want to be, dying of a heat stroke. So
Yeah.
I'm
See,
cold, but
people,
I'll take it.
we're not exactly like, not everything is telepathic between Shay and I. I
No.
am more of a warm weather tropical person. This cold weather, luckily for me, like I've always said, I don't leave the house, so I don't
Yeah.
have anything to worry about. I have pretty good heat. I'm keeping warm, but this snow is not for me, that's for sure.
I see. I love the snow. I have come to realize I overheat very easily, so I'd rather, rather keep it at hypothermic levels for the
Gotcha,
most
gotcha.
part. But I'm more of
I
a
know
fall person than winter, but I do like the snow. Just
I
not
know
walking
you're
in
gearing up for the playoffs, the
it. Am I?
NFL playoffs.
Am I? Like, am I really like? I don't.
Are
I
you
don't
scared?
know. I just don't even care at this point. That's how sad it is. I'm just like the way we've been playing the last month. It's like we don't even deserve to be in the playoffs. So
Wow.
if we get destroyed Saturday, I'm not going to be surprised. It's just one of
Oof.
those where it's like you did it to yourselves. You knew what you were in for, and you proceeded to lose four straight heading into the playoffs. So
No faith in the black and gold.
no, I'm gonna stick with my PWHL women's hockey team. They're doing good right now, so at least some teams I like are not letting me down. So I'll take what I can get.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. This is a professional wrestling podcast where Shay and myself talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Now, usually our episodes are formatted in a way where the listener, you guys, send us in some questions about whatever you want to talk about, what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, whether it's in WWE or AEW, or anything of the like. But this episode in particular is very special because this episode is our 2024 Ringside Rundown End of the Year Awards special, where we'll be handing out some Ringside Rundown Awards to the very best of the year 2024. Very, very excited to get to that. But before we get to that, we cannot not take the opportunity to talk about last night because we are recording on a Tuesday evening. Let's talk about last night, and that is the premiere of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. I don't know about you, but what a crazy night, both for the
Whew.
show and for the Ringside Rundown. It was all in all a wild night.
It was it was definitely different, that's for sure. I kind of feel bad because of course I had to get Netflix to watch it. So now I finally have Netflix so I can watch some shows, but
Let's go.
my poor mom can't watch it because she doesn't
Oh
have internet at her
no.
house. So she's like fucked. She can't watch it at all because obviously it's not on cable anymore. So poor mom has like no idea what's going on. I mean, obviously I called her after a certain match ended, for obvious reasons, so she knows a little bit about it, but it it's gonna take some getting used to, I think, for sure, because for our entire existence, Raw's been on cable television, so now that it's not, it's like what the heck? It just from the presentation, from everything, it just felt different. Not a bad different though. It was good. It had its
Right.
moments. There were some where it was like, maybe not, but overall, I think it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the best part about it for me, because obviously we were doing the live streaming thing. The best part about it for me was the fact that we have a lot of people in our little community that are from like the UK, and
Mhm.
a lot of them can't, don't have access right away to WWE programming live unless it's like a PLE or something like that. So for so many people to be able to watch WWE programming live globally, and me being able to interact with those people, and we are fortunate that we have a community that a big portion of it is made up of people that aren't even wrestling fans,
Yeah.
that are just other content creators that are just there to support and hang out and have fun. And now they're able to like partake in the fun. And we had so many people come in and they were like, wow, this is really really fun. And that kind of translated to mainstream news as well. There were people on ESPN that were there that were not wrestling fans, and they were like, wow, this was amazing. And even I forgot her name. She's a reporter on ESPN, but she was talking about how welcoming the wrestling community was to her, and
Yeah.
which is a rarity kind of for
Yeah. Yeah.
what we usually hear
Yeah.
about this community. But the fact that that last night kind of brought everybody together in such a way was really really cool.
Yeah, it definitely was. It just again, it had that new kind of feeling. I hope it lasts for a very long time.
Right.
I hope it doesn't get ruined quickly because we'd rather it not do that because we'd rather not complain on the show all the time. But no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, granted there were a couple, like I said, a couple spots where I'm like, hey, don't really want to watch this, and so I didn't. But for obvious
you,
reasons. But
you mean the old man that got booed out of the building?
yeah, and the other old man that
Oh
didn't get booed
yeah,
out the building,
yeah. The
but
other old man. There was a lot of old men on this episode of Monday Night Raw. That is for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but you know what? It was a fun night. I especially love the feel, the production changes. Even now, when we thought that WWE couldn't up their game production wise,
yeah,
with the camera shots that they were pulling off
the
and
drones.
the drones going through the makeshift clouds of
Yeah.
the arena. That was just incredible, especially like during the CM Punk entrance when they did
Mhm.
that overhead shot of him walking backwards and like the sea of people reaching out for him. That
Yeah.
was I said it on stream. I said that's a shot that's going to be in the next WWE hype video for the next 10 years.
You
You
better
know,
be.
yeah, where they're like, they're hyping up WWE products, and that's the shot you're gonna see is just CM Punk and the camera panning out, and you see a sea of people because there were so many people there last night.
Yeah, yeah,
A ridiculous amount of people there last night, just reaching out for his hand. It was an incredible evening, so much fun, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen, not only for Raw on Netflix, but for wrestling as a whole. Is it gonna grow, or did we bring in some new people?
yeah.
Some new eyes to some of our our biggest hobby, I guess. The
Yeah,
time will tell. So
yeah.
time remains to be seen. But like I said, tonight is a very special night because tonight we are doing the end of the year 2024 Ringside Rundown Awards special. We got awards going out for Breakout Wrestlers of the Year. We got Tag Teams of the Year, Stories of the Year, Wrestlers of the Year. Obviously, we got a whole big show. I can't wait to get into it. Why don't we do
Let's do it. I was gonna say my suit on, but I do not.
that?
I have my hoodie on, but I'm comfortable, you're comfortable, and we're
Yeah.
ready to do this.
Well, for all you guys know, we are dressed to the nines
Yeah,
in our tuxedos, that we spent thousands upon thousands
the
of.
tuxedo t-shirts.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mine's the cutoff ones, like my
Yeah, yeah.
I have no sleeves. I'm going Kevin Owens style. But
Yeah, yeah.
why don't we start the awards off with the WWE Breakout Wrestler of the Year?
Yeah.
There were many, many breakout wrestler to choose from on the WWE side. Mainly, I would say in NXT.
Yes.
They had a lot of people out there. You had Trick Williams and everything like that. Someone that was there doing the thing. You had, I would say, people like Tony D'Angelo, Obafemi,
Yeah. Getting
Andre
paid.
Chase to an extent. Yes, they were all just big factors on making WWE the success that it is, because now we're starting to see that they're implementing new blood to the product as much as they can.
Yeah, and even translates up to the main roster too, like because obviously we're talking about the male breakout star. You had Braun Breaker, kind of the like whole
Right,
point NXT. You
right.
had LA Knight, had a big year. Damian Priest for sure. Damian had a pretty good year, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty good year.
Just a little, he was all right, but no, there was one in particular though that um you and I, not surprisingly, both agreed was the male breakout star, and who would that be?
That would be none other than the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, who is the WWE Breakout Star of the Year for the 2024 Ringside Rundown Awards. I mean, this guy, before he even stepped on the scene for WWE, was already going to be making waves once it was known that he was coming to the WWE, and you obviously knew that he was going to be a part of the bloodline situation. It just catapulted him, and he took that opportunity and ran with it like he had the rocket strapped to his back. And what an impact did the Samoan werewolf make for the WWE? I mean, to the point where you see him locking eyes with people like Braun Strowman and
Yeah.
Braun Breaker, and everybody just going, "Oh man, can't wait to see this."
Literally, and it's just the style he has in the ring too is just super impressive because you see him, you look at him and you're like, okay, yeah, he's a big guy, he's a powerhouse, whatever. But the things this guy can do, he can just slingshot himself around the ring like he's a
Mhm.
cruiserweight, and it's just like you shake your head because you're like, what the fuck am I watching right now? But it's just so cool to watch him just like again do like the whisper in the wind, doing these dives, doing all these things, and it's just like and then turn right around and just like spear you through a barricade like it's nothing, or just fling you halfway across the ring. It's just the guy's just impressive, like all around impressive. And I think he's gonna factor in a lot into WWE's plans this year. Like you said, just him locking eyes with some people already creates buzz around the guy, so that pretty much tells you that he's a bit of a big deal.
Yeah, he very much is, and it's exciting to see what he is going to do going forward with the bloodline, especially after what happened last night on the Raw premiere on Netflix. For those that didn't see, cover your ears. Spoiler
No
warning.
spoilers.
Solo did not win his match. He did not win Tribal Combat against Roman Reigns. So it's very interesting. How does that translate in? How does like Tamatonga, Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu, how do they view Solo Sokoa now that he ultimately was not able to get the job done and claim the rightful place as the tribal chief, the holder of the Ulafala?
Yeah.
So you wonder if that means that Jacob Fatu might break out, maybe on his own. Even when he does eventually break out on his own, he's just going to be a big star. He's got all the intangibles, like you said. He's an anomaly in the ring, being able to do the things that he can do, fly around the ring the way that he can at the size that he is. And not only that, he can cut a pretty damn good promo
Yeah.
as well. So the sky's the limit for Jacob Fatu. It's going to be very interesting going forward to see how WWE uses him and in what capacity.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's going to be a very good year for him.
For sure, for sure. Now, switching gears, going to the other side of the aisle for wrestling relevancy, we head over to All Elite Wrestling to talk about the breakout star for the male division of All Elite Wrestling. Now, AEW, technically, I mean, you look at the entirety of AEW, and the entirety of it all can be a breakout because
Yeah.
that is what they're mostly successful with is utilizing the talent that we don't usually see, that we're not accustomed to seeing, and we're constantly getting our eyes open to different styles and different facets of professional wrestling, and that's what makes AEW so great.
I agree. It is just always going to surprise you with these with just who's going to actually break out during the year, because there are some where you're just like, I don't really know if this is going to work. Like this just doesn't seem right. This just doesn't seem like it's going to be like a like sustainable thing, and then it just turns around and completely takes you by surprise, which I feel like our male breakout star did that in a way through some unfortunate circumstances, though. However, our male breakout star for AEW was the proto star, Kyle Fletcher. I, f- I
Congratulations.
feel like it really wasn't much of a contest, to be honest. I mean, we had a couple other ones. We had Garcia, we had Jack Perry, we had Konosuke Takeshita, but Fletcher he just kind of steamrolled everybody after a while. And
Right.
that was one of those where it's like with the unfortunate circumstance of like losing Mark Davis, you kind of were wondering like, okay, what are they going to do with him now? Because he could just get lost in the shuffle with the Don Callis family. There's so many things that were working against him at that time, and somehow, some way, he just managed to put the work in and just create this whole new persona and this style, and it has worked wonders for him. I mean, for God's sake, he beat Will Ospreay, so that's just no small feat. So that's the only argument you could pretty much make, and no one
Right.
could argue with you. Is just, well, he beat Will Ospreay, and that pretty much tells you all you need to know. It's just he has had a insane year, blew through the Continental Classic like it was nothing. He was just like beating everybody left and right. Granted, through some nefarious means, but for somebody like him to put up that kind of showing in the tournament, it's a pretty big deal.
It really, really is. I mean, not only that, but he completely transformed himself physically.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Going from the weird kind of bleach blonde. I don't know what he was going with that, but then he shaves his head. Not only that, but he puts on massive amounts of size in terms of muscle and his look, and he looks like the complete five-tool player. I mean, this guy has it all together. He's athletic, agile. He can talk on the mic. He's got a great look, and he's got size to him, and he doesn't let that size kind of hinder what he's able to do in the ring. You look at him and you think maybe he's like another. I mean, I hate to do this, but you kind of I see where they were going, because you wonder like, well, he probably can do all the stuff that Will Ospreay can do, but
Yeah.
he's really changed his game in terms of he's not reliant on doing the flashy high spot moves. He's putting it all together in other ways and getting it done in the ring. Like you said, he's beaten Will Ospreay this year. He's beaten Kazuchika Okada. He almost made it to the finals of the Continental Classic. He's basically the top tier in terms of everybody in the Don Callis family. He's the shining diamond prize, the centerpiece of it all, and he's not. I can't think of anyone greater to be the breakout star for AEW in the year 2024.
Yeah, like I said, he had a little bit of competition, but at the end of the day, it was always going to be his award to win.
Yeah, definitely. But that again, like I said in the beginning, that is the great thing about AEW, is that they constantly introduce new facets and new stars that they can develop and mold. It's just sometimes they kind of shuffle the pieces the right way. It's kind of hit or miss, but it's what you expect for such a company that is only what, like, going on 6 years of age. These
Yeah,
are the type of things that you get used to.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so moving on. Congratulations once again to Jacob Fatu, the WWE Breakout Wrestler of the Year for the year 2024, and the AEW Breakout Wrestler of the Year, Kyle Fletcher. Now we head over to the women, who completely, I mean, every year they keep going hard,
Yeah.
but this year in particular, I feel like the women really took over.
Yeah, and it was it was very 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 difficult, especially for the WWE female breakout star to nominate, cuz we kind of just, when we came up with this, we're like, we're obviously going to pick one, but we're going to have like four nominees to pick from.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, I could literally list like 20 of them right now, and none of them would really have any arguments. Like, there'd be no arguments against any of them. It was just, and that wasn't even just the main roster. That's also NXT, because NXT's women's roster is insane. Like,
Yeah, I think
insane.
NXT women's roster is the best women's roster in all of wrestling.
I honestly can't argue with that. Hell, we honestly could have put like a WWE NXT breakout female wrestler of the year if we wanted to, but maybe next year. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll keep it up. We know they will, but I'll let you take this one. We're just gonna keep going back and forth. So, who did we pick for the WWE female breakout star of the year?
Well, this one in particular, the female breakout star of the year for the World Wrestling Entertainment, is someone who honestly has shown so much character development. I mean, there's no question her in-ring work is above level. She is just completely blowing people's minds every single time she gets in the ring because she is so flawless. She is so perfect in what she's doing. Not only that, she gets rewarded to start off the new year as she's the brand new WWE Women's World Champion. I'm talking about it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton is the WWE Female Breakout Wrestler of the Year. She wins the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for that. Congratulations, Tiffany Stratton.
And you know what's wild about that? The fact that the insane reactions this woman gets no matter where she goes, and she's not even considered a good guy in WWE. Like, she's out, like, she's getting better reactions than a good portion of like the good guys in the on the female roster in WWE. Like, it's crazy. And granted, it we'll slow down just a little bit because we were kind of getting tired of the whole is she cashing in, is she not cashing in? But I'm glad they finally just let it happen, and the way they did it was really good too. I liked how she literally had to fight half of the SmackDown roster and get them all out of the way just so she could finally do it. And finally is a champion now, and it's well deserved. She's just, I mean, you pretty much beat me to it. She is just all around just great. Like, she
Right.
has a distinctive look and it works. She's great on the mic. She's a great character. She's great in the ring. Like, that moonsault is still probably the best moonsault in all of wrestling. Like, it's just flawless. It's flawless. Like, it's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, we had a couple other ones we could have picked too. There were some good ones too. We had Nia Jax. She had I mean, great year. I mean,
Very good year.
very good year. We had Chelsea Green, the Women's United
Another
States
one.
Champion. That's another one where it was like
Meechin probably could have been up there.
Machin,
Meechin
Julia.
was yeah, Julia is another one. Steph. I mean, the like again, WWE Women's Division as a whole, whether it's the main roster or NXT, is just on fire right now. But really, to speak on Tiffany Stratton, I mean, the cash in to me, I honestly think this ranks as number one, the best cash in I've seen so far since the
Yeah.
creation of the Money in the Bank because she did it almost on a genius level.
Mm-hmm.
She came in, did tease the cash in, but then got the win for Nia to make sure that Nia had her guard down.
Yeah.
She let Bianca do all the heavy lifting and hitting Nia with the KOD. Then she takes out Bianca, and then just for the cherry on top, she does the prettiest moonsault ever, and she gets the win, and she's the new WWE Women's World Champion. It was just a genius execution in cashing in the title. To me, it was the greatest cash in I've ever seen since the creation of the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it was great. Like I said, she literally took out half of that roster and made sure that there was going to be no interruptions,
Yeah,
no nothing. She was getting that title and she was leaving with that title, whether you liked it or not. And it made her look like a genius. Like you said, she was so smart about it. And now she's the champion and she's more than deserved it.
for sure, for sure. So, congratulations to the WWE Female Breakout Wrestler of the Year, the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award recipient, Tiffany Stratton, the new WWE Women's World Champion. Now, on the other side of the world in AEW, we're going to talk about the Female Breakout Wrestler of the Year. And this one was a little difficult because, again, women's wrestling as a whole this year in 2024 that just concluded, we had a great year of women's wrestling on both ends, on both WWE and AEW. AEW in particular, with their stories that they were doing for the women, the way they were utilizing the women, a lot of different women. You
Yeah.
could have chosen someone like Anna Jay. You
Mhm.
could have chosen someone like Queen Aminata
Harley
as the
Cameron
break.
for character
Har-
work alone.
oh, Harley Cameron alone, I swear, in 2025, if Harley Cameron does not get a women's title, there is something
It'd
seriously
be
wrong.
bad.
Yeah, because this girl is just phenomenal. Like, she's such a money maker. If I was someone that was running a promotion, I would hire Harley Cameron and make her the centerpiece of everything because of the work that she's able to do. But she is not the AEW Female Breakout Star of the Year. No, 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 no. That accolade belongs to the AEW Women's World Champion, Miss Mariah May, the Glamour, the winner of the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for Female Breakout Star of the Year. Congratulations, Mariah May.
The woman from hell. The woman from hell. Let's be honest. We could go on and on and on about Mariah. I don't think it's any secret that we both love Mariah May because
Facts.
because I mean, for starters, she she was part of, let's be completely honest here, the best storyline in AEW, probably you could argue of all time, but especially for this year, with the whole Tony Storm Mariah May, like the friendship and the, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie they based it off of, but I don't remember it right now. But
Yeah, now it's gonna drive me crazy.
I know, but either way, best storyline AEW had going for it this year, bar none. And not even just her character work, she can go in the ring. She is hard hitting. Those drop kicks just can launch you 5 rows into the seats at that point. Like, she is just hard hitting. She's smooth, quick, almost damn near flawless in every way, shape, and form. But just, she could have easily buckled under the pressure of this storyline and just all of this stuff that she's dealt with this year in general, but she has absolutely thrived on it. She has, in her words, killed the AEW women's division because,
Mm.
to be fair, there are very few women who could stack up to her right now. And that's just a testament to how good she is. And we love Harley, we love Queen Aminata. I think we
Mhm.
put Willow Nightingale up in there too, but it's just
Willow
like,
Nightingale.
it was no contest who was going to win the AEW female breakout star. It was always, always, always going to be the Glamour, Mariah May.
Right. Right. And the movie that you were referring to, I had to look it up or else it was going to drive me
Yeah.
absolutely insane,
Yeah.
was All About Eve.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, all about Mariah. That makes sense. So yeah, all
that,
about
yeah,
Eve. Yeah.
that was the movie that the storyline between her and Tony Storm was based upon, written and constructed by the genius that is RJ City. Um,
Props to him.
yes, major props to him. I mean, but again, it's just the story and the way she was able to continue the elevation of the AEW Women's World Championship, despite like the bar that was set by Tony Storm being timeless Tony Storm and being that champion, for Mariah May to keep that level of legitimacy for the title up is just a testament to how good she is. And like you said, the thing about her is she would have fit perfectly as a WWE diva, but she hits as hard as the men do.
Yeah.
Like, that's my favorite aspect. That's why I love watching Mariah May matches, is because she's gonna hit those people very hard, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be great to see. And I couldn't think of a better person to win the breakout star of the year for AEW. And that is also an interesting point about the award itself. It's not necessarily anybody that's new or rookie. It's not a rookie of the year based award. It could be anybody that has a breakout year that's been wrestling and been on AEW or WWE for the past 5-10 years. I
Yeah.
mean, you mentioned LA Knight. LA Knight's been at this a while. LA Knight had a monster 2023 year as well,
Yeah.
and then it just continued to grow. And then 2024 is when we really saw him break out as United States champion. So it's not necessarily just a rookie of the year based award,
Yeah.
much more rather than just someone who's had a year that was completely unexpected.
Exactly. We don't discriminate with the rookies and the vets. If you have a good year, we're
Mhm.
gonna acknowledge it.
Correct. All right, so moving on, and now that brings us to our next award for the 2024 Ringside Rundown Awards. This one is very interesting. It is for the WWE Tag Team of the Year, and I say it's very interesting because of the winner that we chose. And really, it was the winner that you chose, because I had a team picked. I don't even remember the team that I picked, because once I saw who you picked, I was like, that makes so much sense. And it was a perfect pick in my eyes, and I have to give it up to the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill?
I mean, I might get back at my friend's good graces for this one because we've been at each other's throats with the whole relive thing. So hopefully this is like my like peace offering to her is to name them the tag team of the year. But all jokes aside, they were definitely the most consistent team throughout the year. I mean, there were some still decent teams out there. I put Fraser and Axiom, they were
Oh
really good in
yeah, oh
NXT.
yeah.
DIY had a solid year. I mean, my sleeper pick was on Holy Union because I think they did what they could with the titles because we have unfortunately been very critical at times of the women's tag titles because we
Right.
kind of feel like they kind of forget they exist and that they're an actual title. However, Bianca and Jade took those titles and made them their own. And even if they didn't have the titles, they still probably would have been the tag team of the year because they just have the charisma, they have the star power, they have the wrestling ability. You just look at them and you're like, they're stars. Like it's no contest. They're just stars. And I'm gonna be very interested to see where this whole story goes with who attacked Jade. Was it Bianca? Was it Naomi? How that's all gonna factor in over the next few months, essentially leading up to WrestleMania at this point. But it's just they just had a solid year. They had plenty of good defenses. It's just a shame that we named them the tag team of the year and then Jade's gone. So technically it's Bianca and Naomi now. However, that might end a couple different ways. But again, they just ooze charisma and star power. It's just
They,
like you just can't help but look at them and just go, wow.
they really, really do, and it's a testament. My favorite thing is always to bring up the fact that Jade spent so much time um in the performance center honing the craft and getting ready before they actually decided to call her up and bring her up to the main roster. They did right by her by
Yes.
making sure she was absolutely ready to go. And that's why anytime that her and Bianca were put in certain positions, it always made the most sense,
Hmm.
because they were able to actually perform under those bright lights and they were not afraid to perform under that pressure. And they kind of, like you said earlier, we kind of we make light of the fact that the women's tag team titles kind of come off as maybe cursed.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've never really been giving a legitimate go as a proper tag team title, but it definitely felt like Bianca and Jade were able to elevate the titles in that way. And then you have to wonder, like you said again, with this whole storyline, how what is going on? Because at first, like, the logical thing is, in kind of a situation like this, you look at the partner,
Yeah.
and you go, oh, I mean, come on, why, the partner's right there. But again, what about Naomi?
Hmm.
Naomi could have been kind of
Lurking.
envious and jealous and lurking and
Oh yeah, the
waiting.
third wheel. Fully the
Yeah,
third wheel.
yeah, and then the fact that she was like, well, I want to be tag team champion. I should be tag team champion. I was here before Jade. I
Yeah.
was, Bianca's pal before Jade even showed up, and she just kind of came and took over. I mean, there are so many layers to this who done it storyline that I really, really can't wait to see how it's going to play out. And the only person that really benefits is Jade Cargill, because it's going to make her so important on the program, and people are going to be so locked into what's going on with her.
Yeah, you're kind of just sitting on the edge of your seat because you know it's only a matter of time before she comes back, and when she does, oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
It is. It really, really is. So, congratulations to Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the 2024 recipients of the Ringside Rundown WWE Tag Team of the Year. Now, switching sides, we go over to All Elite Wrestling, and it's time to choose the AEW Tag Team of the Year. And I mean, really, you got to go with the guys who put the tag team division on their backs, going up against the champions that held the tag team titles kind of hostage
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the majority of 2024. And the ones that held it hostage were the EVPs, the Young Bucks. And who stepped up to the plate to challenge the Young Bucks? and take away those titles. We're talking about the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award winners for AEW Tag Team of the Year. We're talking about Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Private Party. Shots all around for everybody.
That's for everybody.
Yeah, shots for everybody. Congratulations. I mean, I was so excited and so happy, not only to see Private Party win the AEW tag team titles, but just for them to get the opportunity to be in this certain position, to be able to tell the story that they did to get to the AEW tag team titles was very cool.
Yeah, because from the very beginning, they've always been one of the top teams in AEW's division, except it was always just a timing thing. It was
Hmm.
always, there was always just a couple teams just a little bit better than them or a little bit hotter than them at the time. And so it was almost just like, are these guys ever going to have their moment? And finally, the stars aligned in 2024 and they made the most of it. Because just think, last year or later into 2023, they were with like Broken Matt Hardy. They were doing like a comedy thing. Like they had the team, like they were teaming with Ethan Page too. So you're kind of just like, wow, they're really giving up on them, aren't they? And they just had this resurgence this year, and I was so glad to see them finally get rewarded by finally getting these titles that they could have had for so many times over the years in AEW, but it's just they just work. They just work well together. The chemistry is great. Their matches are always great. I can't really remember them having a really bad match. They're just consistent, solid in the ring. I just hope they hold on to those titles for a little while longer because, damn it, they deserved it.
I agree. I agree. Once again, congratulations to the AEW Tag Team Champions, the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award winners for AEW Tag Team of the Year, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Private Party. Once again, shots for everybody. Give me about two because by the third one, I'm gonna want to go home and go to sleep.
I'll take a shot of water.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Shay doesn't drink, so shots of water all around for everybody. Congratulations to Private Party. Now we're gonna get into the meat of the awards, the
Yes.
ones that everybody really wants to know. These are the big ones, and these are the ones that we kind of had to have some outside counsel for, because there is two of us and not all the time. I know it may seem like all the time
Most of
Shay
the
and
time.
I, yeah, most of the time, about 95 to 98% of the time, Shay and I are on the same page and we're kind of telepathically lockstep with each other and choosing things like this. But it's not every time, especially when you have 15 awards to give out in total. So we
Yeah.
had to get some outside counsel who helped us out. And this one was very in particular, very interesting. And I am talking about the WWE story of the year. It is the one story that kept us, me in particular, just glued to my TV, wanting to see this. And the most insane part about this story is that the majority of this story was done strictly by cutting promos on each other. The
Mhm.
one winner for the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for WWE Story of the Year, and that is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. What a story.
What a feud. What
Mhm.
a feud. It just the layers, just the amount of layers the story had was just insane. It all starts with the Rumble when Punk gets hurt and Drew's just going around just laughing it up and I'm the one that injured CM Punk and just talking all this shit. And then when Punk comes back, it's all hell literally and figuratively breaks
Mhm.
loose because you have bloodbaths, you have bloody backstage brawls, you have bracelets, you have the bracelet, not any bracelet, the bracelet that
The
was
bracelet.
essentially the whole cornerstone of this feud for the summer was this singular bracelet that who knew was going to have such power over one man. And it was just his kryptonite, and it was just it could have went south with that so quick, but it did not. These two, it's one of those feuds where you wonder, like, do they just really work well together and are very good at like acting and doing their jobs, or do they really not like each other? Those are, I think, the best kind of feuds where you're like, ooh, are you guys blurring the lines here a little bit? Because You are making it very personal, very intense, and every single match they had just one up themselves every single time. And just that whole section of time where it was just, how's Punk gonna screw over Drew McIntyre? And hell, I feel like we called it, especially at Clash at the Castle. We fully called that happening. And to say
Yeah.
we were justified, we felt very justified. We felt very vindicated, but it was just wild because it's, you were on the edge of your seat going, what the hell is going to happen next? Like, if we thought this was intense, I can't even imagine what they're going to do to top this. And it was just insane. It was just wild from start to finish, and if they were to revisit that, I would not complain at all.
Yeah, I don't think this is the thing about CM Punk, and he's such a polarizing figure in the world of pro wrestling, is that the people that he kind of latches himself onto, the
Mm-hmm.
only way he's done with them is if he's in a completely different company.
Yeah.
So I think for as long as CM Punk is active in the WWE, he's never going to get rid of Seth Rollins. He's never going to get rid of Drew McIntyre on his back. I think those are one of those things where this is a clear cut example of, you just never can rid yourself of this person. And you got to speak upon the sort of emergence of Drew McIntyre, sort of the social media guy,
Yeah.
and the way his troll game and his ability to use social media correctly and to garnering buzz for himself really is what elevated this whole idea of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk to another stratosphere that ended up with a lot of bloodshed. So I don't know how much they can revel in winning an award such as the
Yeah.
2024 Ringside Rundown Award for WWE Story of the Year. But once again, that is winners are Drew McIntyre and CM Punk for their uh, bloodbath rivalry for the year 2024.
Bloodbaths, putting it mildly.
Yes, for sure. Now we go over to the other side to talk about the AEW story of the year, and it's pretty easy. There's no way you could talk about another story besides the one that is Mariah May turning on her mentor, timeless Tony Storm. What a story they told together. Again, we alluded to it a couple minutes ago, talking about how it's a callback to the classic film All About Eve in a way where Tony Storm. What's the best way to put it? It felt like Tony Storm was blinded by the fact that she had somebody that looked up to her, and that sort of
Yeah.
was all the adulation that Mariah May and the attention that Mariah May gave her. It felt like Tony let her guard down and didn't realize that Mariah May was kind of just a snake in the grass.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, she even alluded to it several times where we're just like, "Oh boy, is she figuring it out?"
Yeah.
Like the one promo she cut where it was so on the nose, where it's just like, "If I were you, I would completely do this. This is what you're doing, isn't it? Oh, that's brilliant. I would do the exact same thing." And we're just like, "Oh, Tony." Oh, we're like, "Oh, Tony, no." But then they did that thing of, they would do that and then they would just stray so far away from it where you're like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't just, maybe it isn't a thing, maybe it's just us being paranoid, we have PTSD from so many people turning on each other that
Right.
maybe this won't happen and they'll live happily ever after. And when it did happen, it was just like, oh fuck, this is actually like happening. Like that genuinely just took me off guard, which to be fair it shouldn't have, but that's storytelling 101, where it's just like you just don't expect the obvious. And it was just we always throw it around as like a cliched kind of thing, but it really was absolute just cinema. Like they could not have done anything any better. It just, from start to finish, everybody played their parts perfectly. It never felt forced, it felt like unnatural. Like again, we said props to RJ City for putting this whole thing together, because you can't. you can't have this story be as successful as it is without, again, literally everybody involved, without his genius and his flair for like the old timey kind of movies and the old timey kind of like decades. And it really wouldn't have worked, I have a feeling, with anybody else except Tony and Mariah. I feel like I think we even talked about it a long like episodes ago, where it's just like sometimes you have two superstars that just come together and the stars just align and they can just create absolute magic. And I think this year, in a nutshell, we were kind of just spoiled with it because we had that and we also had Cody and Roman leading up to WrestleMania. So I feel like we were just spoiled with
R-
cinema in wrestling this year. But
yes.
it's very hard to top Tony and Mariah. It was just fantastic. It's like I don't think they're going to be able to top that for quite some time, if ever, maybe. But
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point. I feel like this year in particular, 2024, in terms of wrestling, it was all about storytelling on both sides. WWE and AEW were paramount and very, very important to getting people back into wrestling because I felt like that was what's most missing was the drama and the reason to turn in and be a part of the action and fall in love with what is professional wrestling. So once again, congratulations to all four winners of the 2024 Story of the Year. For WWE, it is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, their bloodbath rivalry culminating in the Hell in a Cell. Congratulations to those two for telling such a dramatic story. And talking about dramatic stories, none more dramatic than Mariah May turning on Tony Storm. So congratulations to those winners of the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for Stories of the Year. Now, moving on to another big award. This one is the WWE Match of the Year. And I feel like you can speak about this one in particular because you were there in person and you felt the vibes. You felt the energy course through your veins. And I'm talking about night two of WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns defending the WWE Undisputed Championship against Cody Rhodes. Like I said, you were there, so you can explain to the people why this match was chosen as the WWE Match of the Year.
it's just you just I'm getting goosebumps again just thinking about it because it was just leading up to that match and everything that came before it, especially from WrestleMania 39, because I remember we sat here right after that and everybody's losing their shit. Everybody's losing their mind. I can't fucking believe Cody didn't win. How did he not win? This is ridiculous. Why is he doing this? And we're just like, guys, could you imagine what's going to happen if they build this up for a whole other year? It is going to be insane. And lo and behold, look what happened. That it was just being there and just experiencing the build up to all of it. Not even so much during like even night one and the tag match, just being around the wrestling events in the city that whole weekend. You just had that like nervous excitement and energy of, is he finally going to do it? Is Cody finally going to finish the story? Is he going to do it? Is he going to finally win the title that's eluded that family for so long, or is Roman still going to hold on to that title? And I mean, we joked that I might not make it out alive if Roman won that night because I don't know what Philly would have done that night, but it was just that build up and that build up and just continuously building up, and then the tag match happens and then it's like, well, Cody's really screwed now. And they did such a good job of just making it seem so unattainable, like Michael Cole being like, well, Cody's screwed, there's no way he's winning it now, this
Right.
isn't happening, it's bloodline rules, he's done, it's over. And I'm glad that the match itself, Cody and Roman on night two, it could have gone off the rails so easily. We even
Mhm.
joked about it. We're like, this is going to be like the obnoxious Marvel Avengers version, like Endgame mess. And people kept making jokes about it. And I kind of was like, but what if they actually do something so crazy and over the top that it's just like, okay, well, this is a little too much. However, when you're in the arena watching it happen,
Mhm.
it was just like nothing that I don't think I'll ever be able to experience again in person. Like, even before the ending, just all the stuff that led up to the finish of that match was just Solo Sikoa coming in, and then Cena, and then The Rock, and then The Undertaker, and it was just like one thing after another, but it never felt like too much. And
Right.
then you find, and then you get the Shield thing, and then you got Seth going in there with half a leg, really, just doing doing what he can, and
Yeah.
and it was just like we say it's cinema, but it was, and the the amount of energy that just exploded out of that arena when Cody won was just like insane. It was just so crazy, and again, it'll pretty much be something I don't think I'll ever be able to replicate in a wrestling like show ever again, because it's WrestleMania. It's just that's again another one of those things where it's like the stars just align and it just happens at a certain point in time. And I was just mom and I were just lucky enough to see it in person, and I don't know if we're ever going to see something like that again, and to even get to share it with two of my friends who live near Philly. We don't see them very often because obviously we're on opposite ends of the state, unfortunately, but to literally be sitting in the same section of that arena, which was wild because I don't think we ever really talked about it, where they had like lower seats for night one, but then night two, my friend and I were talking about it, and she's like, well, where are you sitting? And I said, we're up in 521. Where are you? She's like, you're fucking serious. I'm up in 521 too. And I'm like, it's just insane to me that, granted, they weren't unfortunately close to us. They were a little higher up than we were, but it was just like to have them come down there and just share that with us is, again, I'll never be able to probably replicate that, and that's just the magic of timing and just great storytelling, and it's just I could go on and on and on, but it's just incredible to think that that match literally happened 3 months into 2024, and here we are a little less than a year later, and that was the match of the year. Nothing in WWE could top that because of just what led up to it, what happened during it, and the finish. Nothing was ever going to beat that. Like, not even
Right.
close.
Yeah, I think the reason that nothing was gonna beat that is because it kinda gave something for every wrestling fan.
Yeah.
It was a great match in terms of the pacing and the construction of the match, so if you were just looking for a great match, you got that, but if you wanted a punch of nostalgia in your face and you just a little bit of chaos, you got that as well, with all the run-ins and the surprises and things like that, and then the Undertaker. It was just phenomenal. And as a wrestling fan, and as someone who was watching at home on TV, to be able to connect with you and to connect with the people that were there in attendance, that were there live, it felt like, you want to talk about telepathy. It's like it
Yeah.
felt like we all just kind of, as one, if you were a fan of the WWE, if you were really into the match, if you were enjoying yourself, it's almost like we all became interconnected in some sort of weird way. It was
Yeah.
just really a really, really, really fun night.
Yeah, it was, again, that's going to be very hard to top for me, just getting to experience all of that just over the whole weekend. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Not everyone can say that you got to go to WrestleMania. So it was I'm glad that the timing worked out this year for us.
Fantastic, fantastic. So once again, the winner of the 2024 Match of the Year for WWE is Cody Rhodes, finishing the story and winning the undisputed title at WrestleMania 40 from the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. So congratulations to them. Now on the other side of the wrestling world, we head over to AEW, and for me, I am so glad that we didn't have to go to outside counsel for this match being
Yes.
the match of the year, because to me, this match was not only my match of the year, but this is honestly my favorite match all time.
Yeah.
Um
I'll let you take this one then. I got my turn, now it's your turn.
the reason that this match is my favorite match of all time, because we do the flame ratings for these matches on these PLEs and these pay-per-views, and we do these ratings, and the reason I don't give out a lot of 5 ratings is because for me, in order to give out a 5 flame rating for a match, the match not necessarily has to just be a great classic wrestling match. It also has to invoke some sort of emotion from me,
Mhm.
make me feel something more than, oh my God, that was just a great match. And this match in particular, the winner of the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for AEW Match of the Year is Swerve Strickland, defending the AEW World Championship against Bryan Danielson at AEW All In. To me, again, like I said, not only is this match of the year for AEW, but this is the greatest match I've ever seen in my entire life. I've talked about it plenty of times and I'll talk about it again. To me, the one thing that sticks out in my mind that will not leave my brain as far as what I remember most from this match is that moment where Swerve is sort of mocking Danielson and hitting Danielson with those round kicks to Danielson's sternum as he's on his knees on the mat and he's rising. And as he's rising, Swerve Strickland is hitting him harder and harder with those round kicks to his sternum. And as he gets to his feet, he's got his eyes locked on his two young children who are in the audience in the front row with his wife, and he's got his eyes locked on him and he's yelling, I love you, with every single kick that
Mhm.
Swerve Strickland gives him. He's yelling, I love you, to his children. And this is in a professional wrestling match.
Yeah, it was, just the again, give me goosebumps just thinking about it. Damn, like, oh,
Like, this is a professional wrestling match. This man is getting the absolute shit kicked out of him, and the only thing he can do is stare at his very, very young children and yell to them and make sure that they know that he loves them. Holy shit.
right? Eh,
Like what? What?
just oh, no, keep going, keep going.
I mean, for me, it's just like that visual. We talk a lot about how we want AEW to be great, and we yell about how many times they get it wrong, and what the hell is wrong with Tony Khan? Why are we starting a show with "I'm so excited"? I don't get it. But
Yeah,
the point I'm trying to make is when they get it right, they get it right.
yeah,
And there's no greater example of AEW getting it right when they had that match at All In and they constructed it in a way that they did. To me, I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years of my life. I've seen I've forgotten about more matches than most people have seen,
yeah.
and for me to sit there and say in 2024 AEW gave me the greatest wrestling match I have ever seen with my own two eyes, and Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson. I mean, just goosebumps. Congratulations.
Just again, cinema, absolute cinema.
Cinema indeed. So once again, congratulations to Cody, Roman, Swerve, and Bryan Danielson for winning their respective 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for Match of the Year. Now, here's another big one that everybody wants to talk about, and this is one that we had to seek outside counsel for. It is time to give you the award for WWE Female Superstar of the Year. Are you excited for this one, Shay?
I feel like we might get into a fight over this one, but it's fine. Let's just get into it.
All right.
Let's do
Well,
it.
for the WWE Female Wrestler of the Year, I mean, for me, it was kind of a wise choice. This is a woman that went out and said that she was going to take something from her arch nemesis. Not only take something, but take everything from her arch nemesis. And that's exactly what she went out and did. She not only took her man, but she took her title. And not only did she take her title, but she took her crew too. And that woman I am talking about is the leader of the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Liv Morgan herself is the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award recipient for WWE Female Wrestler of the Year. Shay, please give me your thoughts.
I, do we? Whatever. So this was one of
Oh
those we had to
man.
get the outside counsel for because I did not pick Liv. I don't think it would take a rocket scientist to figure out who I picked. I picked Rhea Ripley because
Hmm.
I get the whole she was hurt for a lot of it, but I think it was more or less what she did with the time she had was just insane. I didn't see Liv Morgan in Call of Duty. I didn't see Liv Morgan on like
Wow.
whatever,
Wow.
but I will begrudgingly talk about this, even though this was not my choice. But no, Liv has definitely elevated herself to a main event star because to see where she started from an NXT to where she is now is just a testament to all the hard work she's put in. And
Mm.
she's good in the ring. She's great in the ring. Great, again, great character work, great in ring work. Made Bria's life a living hell for the last year, so that's not great for me. But I mean, it was good. It was a good storyline. Got a little long after a while, but they still at least made it interesting. I don't think it ever really became, at least for me, it didn't get boring. It was always just a little interesting in some aspects. But yeah, I so even though I do not agree, she would have been my runner up. But I can see why people would pick her as the female superstar of the year.
I tell you, you Rhea stands.
Okay, Liv
Oh.
oh god, don't and now my friend and I are gonna go fight now because that's what we've been yelling about for the last 2 days. But
I
whatever,
tell you.
all's right with the world now, so it's fine. But
I tell you, shout out to Liv Morgan once again, the 2024 winner of the Ringside Rundown Award for WWE Female Wrestler of the Year. Now we switch gears and go to the other side of the wrestling world for the AEW Female Wrestler of the Year, and this one didn't need no outside counsel.
no.
It was pretty cut and dry. Who else deserves the award for AEW Female Wrestler of the Year than the timeless Tony Storm? I mean, what a professional wrestler, what a character, what a woman in Tony Storm. Just all around, what a fantastic year for her.
It was just, again, we always say the timing of everything, just no one could do what she did with that
Right.
character because right from the beginning you could hear some people, there were some rumblings right at the beginning being like, oh, this is what she's gonna do. I don't really know about that because this could get kind of old real quick. But it was just week after week after week. It was just all the funny shit she would do, and it would just make it so effortless. It was always those like rapid fire things too, where it's like if you weren't paying attention, you just missed something really funny. She's just so quick, just so witty, and again, nobody could have pulled off the timeless character like Tony Storm did. And it's very interesting to see how this is going to progress now that she's clearly a rookie in AEW. She's a young up and starter, up and coming starter, but yeah, it was just we didn't have to fist fight over this one. This one was never going to be in question. It was always going to be Tony because if it wasn't for Tony, I mean, let's be honest, in the scope of AEW, Mariah May wouldn't be anything without Tony.
Mm.
Not to the level she got to in such a short amount of time. Mariah would have gotten there. It just would have taken a very long time. But again, they just caught lightning in a bottle, and Tony was the main like starting point for that. Because if it wouldn't, the Timeless character wouldn't have been there. What would have happened?
I agree. I mean, for me, I don't know if necessarily I was one of those people that were like, I don't know where this is gonna go. I was
Well, I
more,
wasn't either. I
yeah,
we heard about it unfortunately because we
yeah.
were on
I
Twitter.
I don't know if it was to that extreme. I did have my reservations, but
Yeah,
I was more so like, well, I'm willing to see where it was gonna go. And when you can see someone put their everything into a character, and not only that, but like every single facet of that character has been meticulously broken down and made sure to be delivered in like such a perfect fashion the way that Tony Storm did it. Nothing she did was without reason, and nothing she did wasn't dismantled by her and said, how do I deliver this the best way in the timeless character? So when you
yeah,
give me that sort of dedication to a character that's not even you in real life, that's
yeah.
not even her in real life. It's a complete. complete separation of reality and a person. So to be able
Yeah.
to dive right into that as much as she did, she deserves all the credit in the world, and I couldn't have picked a better person to win the award for AEW Female Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah. But well done, Tony.
For sure, for sure. Well, that now takes us to the male side of professional wrestling, and it's time to deliver our WWE Male Wrestler of the Year. And no other person really deserves the award other than the quarterback of the WWE, the WWE Undisputed Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, like again, was one of those where was there any doubt really?
What,
Like,
what was there any doubt? It's almost like, well, what do you guys want to talk about? What a year culminating in finishing the story in April. And capturing the WWE Undisputed Championship, a world title, which is something his father was not able to do while he was in the WWE. He was able to accomplish that dream. The rivalry with that he was having going after that, and not only that, but the matches too. You got to
yeah,
figure the matches too. With he had a couple of those matches with Dirty Dom. Didn't he have that match with Logan Paul too?
yeah,
I mean, he was kind of, for as revered as the tribal chief reign is, like, the one glaring negative is that we didn't get as many title defenses as we should have gotten
yeah.
in that amount of time.
Hmm.
But Cody, especially everything he's doing now with Kevin Owens. I mean, the Kevin Owens is sort of like has been the pinnacle of this entire title reign, and just the layers of story that it's telling and the depth of the dramatics that is between Cody and Kevin Owens. I mean, for all intent purposes, he is the quarterback for the WWE right now.
He really is. He's the workhorse. He's the standard bearer. He's the MVP, obviously, because that's why he got this award. But you look, you kind of take what Michael Cole said. You kind of take a quote from him last night. If you look up the word superstar in the dictionary, Cody's one of the people that would be like this textbook definition of a superstar. It's just
Yep.
not even just in the ring, out the ring, what he does with like the community stuff and everything. It's just like you can't pick anybody better than Cody.
Could not pick anybody better ambassador. And I think what you just said is the most important factor in being the world champion and being the poster person for WWE, and that is how the public takes to you. And
Yeah.
Cody is very much a people's champion, um, in terms of the fact that everybody loves Cody, whether it's the kids that come dressed up as him, whether it's the adults that do the whoa in the crowd and go
Yeah.
crazy every time. He is just has that ability to kind of have people latch on, and kind of makes you feel like if you were to have a conversation with Cody, you were just having a conversation with just a normal everyday random dude who really dresses very nicely.
Yeah, really, really, he could just literally be like the everyday guy. It just works for him.
For sure, for sure. So, congratulations to the WWE Male Wrestler of the Year, Mr. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, the WWE Undisputed Champion.
Yes, well done, and well deserved.
Now we head over to the other side of the wrestling world, and we go over to AEW to talk about their male wrestler of the year. And I mean, this one was kind of a toss up. I think this one we had to go out and get outside counsel for, but I'm not mad about it, honestly. I
Yeah.
think it's a
Hmm.
wise choice. I think it's a wise choice. He's a phenomenal performer. He really elevated AEW. And when they gave him the ball as their quarterback, he took the ball and he ran it, and he really did score a good one in the end zone. I'm talking about the one, the only Swerve Strickland is
Yes,
the
or
2024 Ringside Rundown Award winner for AEW Male Wrestler of the Year. So congratulations to Swerve.
See, this was the one that I know. I'm the one that picked Swerve because I know for a fact I picked Swerve, but I digress though. No, Swerve was just we saw what he could be capable of in WWE. And that was obviously where I like fell in love with him as a wrestler. He's been one of my favorites where I'm just like he can do all these big things. He can be one of your star players. Just give him a chance. And he never
Right.
got that chance in WWE. And it took him a little bit in AEW, but when he again that whole timing and perfect timing, stars align and everything, he like you said took the ball and just ran with it. And now he is easily one of the faces of AEW.
For sure,
And
for sure.
in a company that has the likes of John Moxley, has the likes of soon Kenny Omega, maybe again Brian Danielson at some point, Hangman. It's just like Osprey. The fact that you have somebody like Swerve Strickland in that conversation too is again just how hard of a worker he is and how he will do whatever he can to get you to notice him and be like, no, I can be in this conversation too. And he did all of that in spades this year. And for me, it was no contest. Swerve ran AEW this year.
For sure, for sure. I mean, and for me, I mean, when you deliver the greatest match I've ever seen, when you're one half of that match, you know, you're pretty much a lock in for at least to get uh a look at when it comes to a male wrestler of the year. And again, he's just someone that again we talk about how Cody, you could put Cody on the poster of any sort of or WWE event, and he's kind of the poster guy for it and everything like that. You could do that with Swerve, and he's so like multifaceted. Whether it's the wrestling, it's the rapping, it's the podcasting, it's the creating content. He's a guy that or I was gonna say WWE, but AEW can use to kind of branch out and make sure that they can get as many eyes as they can on AEW content.
Yeah, exactly. It's just he's just that guy.
Right.
And if you would have said that years ago when he was in NXT, you would have been like, you know what? I mean, maybe I can see it, but I don't know if it's just him right now. But then look what happened. Just look what happened. It's funny what happens in a few years, and you have people that actually believe in you and see what you're worth. It's funny how that happens.
For sure, for sure. So, congratulations once again to the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award winner for AEW Male Wrestler of the Year, Swerve Strickland. And also, congratulations to the WWE Male Wrestler of the Year, Cody Rhodes, for winning the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award. Congratulations, gentlemen. I don't think you guys are going to see this, but anyway,
You never
just
know.
just to put it out there, congratulations to you two. And that brings us to our final award of the evening. It is time to deliver what we thought would be the promotion of the year for the year 2024. I mean, so much great wrestling, not only from WWE and AEW, but TNA
Yeah.
really elevated their game to be a force to be reckoned with. TNA, ROH had some great moments, especially with Athena being you want to talk about poster person, you want to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
poster woman, you want to put somebody on the front of your promotion. Athena would be a great choice to do that. She has really carried the ROH brand all around. So many great promotions for professional wrestling. 2024 was a great year for professional wrestling, but I mean, let's be honest here. What company broke barriers, broke glass ceilings, broke records for everything that is professional wrestling? WWE, baby.
Yeah. I mean, again, was there ever really any doubt? Like, it was just, I mean, they were starting an uphill battle from the
Right.
get go because obviously we're absolutely not going to go into the problems, but poor Triple H was going to have to find all the hard work and luck in the world that he can muster up because he was I mean, it's not like he was starting from like the worst spot imaginable, but just all
No.
the shit that was surrounding WWE at the time, it was just like, ugh, I don't envy this man at all. because you have to deal with all the blowback from this shit from a
Yes.
guy that's not even there anymore, but it's just it left like a cloud, and it was getting to the point of this is going to be a real problem for WWE because people were really starting to check out and tune out, and then all the changes happened, and again you go into WrestleMania 40 and it was like it just felt different. It just felt like yeah, this is really new. And I mean, obviously on the nose, they came out and flat out said it at the beginning of the first night where this is a new era, this is new everything. And then they went out. And I feel like we could have made this an award, but I feel like we could just throw it into here too. WrestleMania 40 was the show of the year. Like
Oh
that,
yeah.
not even close. Again, like he went out and made a very bold statement and it took some balls. It would have taken serious balls to go out and be like, this is a new era. We're like moving on from shit. This is like the Triple H era, essentially. And that pay per view could have fully just fell flat on its face and like drowned under its own expectations. But it went out and it was, again, the best show of the year. Both nights, like both nights combined, best show of the year. So he pretty much brought WWE back from maybe not the dead, but just like unconsciousness, I guess maybe. Like he re-energized WWE and by proxy re-energized the fans' love and interest for WWE because it has not been hotter than it is right now. Like they're selling out shows left and right. They're breaking, like you said, gate records, like box office records, like pretty much any record you can think of. They're breaking them, and
Yeah.
that's just a testament to Triple H and all the hard work he has been putting in to make WWE what it could have been for so long.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I I was thinking about this last night watching the Raw premiere on Netflix. I was just like, how different would this show have been if the old senile man
Mhm.
was running things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how different would this whole spectacle have been? Somebody said we would have got like 800 camera cuts
Yeah, it would have been
of
sick.
of Kevin Dunn driving us crazy with multi angles and all that garbage. But it really is a testament. I mean, Triple H is the guy that's kind of the face of it all.
Yeah.
When you talk about the resurgence of WWE and the renaissance of WWE, but
Mhm.
honestly, it's everybody. It's like Nick Khan. It's all the people that we know names of, but we don't know the faces of. I was kind of nervous as a fan because when you talk about a board of directors, directing the product that you love so much, and it's almost like if the Steinbrenners sold the Yankees.
I was
And
gonna say I was waiting for you to.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost as if the Steinbrenners sold the Yankees.
Yeah.
And it's just now the company is controlled by entities rather than the one entity that understood what it was. You get kind of nervous,
Mhm.
and honestly, I mean, especially with what went down last night. I mean,
Oh.
as much fun as last night was, th- everything is in good hands. Everything is
Yeah.
in good hands. Honestly, it sounds homerish and it sounds I don't want to say biased, but for me, if I was running a promotion, let's say I was in charge of AEW,
Yeah.
I honestly feel the best course of action is to tip your cap and say, hey, they're the number one in the game. We have to stop trying to compete with them and just try to make the best possible product for ourselves.
Yeah. Yep.
For the people that support us. And we
Mhm.
want to tell people that it's okay to support them and support us because they're doing something and we're going to try to do something different at no slight to them.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's too much of this unnecessarily like it's so stupid to go to battle for these three-letter companies that don't even know you exist.
Yeah.
you're fighting online, and you have to understand that fighting online serves no purpose because they maybe take some of your things that you may think they care about, but only if it's necessary. You know who they really care about? The ones that are paying the tickets to go to these expensive ass shows.
Yeah, it's not cheap, that's for
Yeah,
sure, but
but it's not cheap, but you know what? They consistently sell out buildings.
yeah,
So it's like if you're running a product, yeah, it's expensive, but people keep buying it.
keep doing it.
So
It's
like,
yeah.
do you just like not make it as expensive as it is if people are willing to buy it? If you're gonna fill up a 17,000 seat arena and people are
Mhm.
gonna pay for it, I mean, it's a business. Whole
Yeah,
point of a business is to make money.
and that's as much as the entertainment part's a big thing, the entertainment's not gonna pay bills, so
Exactly, exactly, and
gotta make the money.
that's exactly why WWE is the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award winner for Promotion of the Year. Again, it's no slight to AEW, who's done fantastic, great things and continue to do great things. Like, I'm excited for Grand Slam Australia. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be an exciting show. All in Texas is going to be an exciting show. So they have great things going their way too. It's just WWE. And think about it. WWE has been around for over 70 years.
Phew.
And, and the year 2024 was their most profitable year. And they were a
Yep.
billion-dollar company going into the 80s, like going into the
Yeah.
90s.
It's it's insane.
it's
It's just wild.
it's insane. It is crazy. So once again, congratulations to WWE, winner of the 2024 Ringside Rundown Award for Promotion of the Year. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Time to throw the confetti, spray
Yeah,
the champagne.
we did it.
If you want to stick around for the post-show interviews with all the celebrities, you probably
You're
won't
in
find
the
it.
after show,
Yeah,
the after
you
party.
probably, yeah, you won't find it here. We're gonna go to the after party. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. We're done. Okay, bye.
Yeah, okay, bye. No, seriously. Just 2024 was such a great year, not only for professional wrestling, but for the Ringside Rundown as a whole. So again, thank you for such a great year in 2024 and 2025. I feel like it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, it's just like just when you think it can't get any bigger, you know they're just gonna find a way to top it. Like they're just
I
gonna keep doing it.
I think so. I think so. So I can't wait to see what happens. Again, shout out to WWE and AEW. Thank you guys for providing such great content and such great entertainment for us wrestling fans to digest and love, and being able to show other people why we love professional wrestling. So thank you once again to WWE, AEW, and any other professional wrestling company doing professional wrestling the right way.
Yes, yes. Claps all
Our
around.
All right. So, thank you guys once again for listening to this episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. This podcast is available on all platforms where you listen to podcasts. All you got to do is search the Ringside Rundown. And if you can't find it, then hit us up on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. You can find us at Ringside Rundown. Send us a DM. Let us know what platform you use. I will get back to you with a link on that platform on a silver platter. But the caveat is you have to give us back the silver platter because we only have one, and it
Yeah.
belongs to Shay's mom. And she don't play that shit. She
I'm
don't.
no, I if you wanna mess around with that, be my guest at your own funeral, but, maybe
Yeah.
don't try it.
Yeah, Shay's mom ain't nothing to mess with. So
No, not at all.
definitely give us back that silver platter, but you'll have a link to the podcast. If you can't find it on anyone, and I can't find it on any other platform, don't worry, the podcast is available. Full episodes are on YouTube along with short form content highlights from the streams that we do. You can find us on YouTube at Ringside Run Pod on YouTube. Once again, that's Ringside Run Pod on YouTube, and you can get full episodes of the Ringside Rundown podcast. We're also available on TikTok for however long TikTok is available in the United States. I don't know, but
Who
don't
knows?
worry, I don't do any influencer dances or any TikTok trends. It's basically me on stream yelling about professional wrestling. So if you want to check that out, check us out on TikTok at ringside_rundown. Once again, that's at ringside_rundown. And I had mentioned the Twitch streams. Yes, that's right. For all shows, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, or Collision, I am on twitch.tv/ringside rundown doing live streams. And a lot of times we also multi stream on the YouTube channel. So if you can't follow us on Twitch, you can always follow us on YouTube. But on the Twitch, we do fun things now. Shay, did you know we are raising a bunch of degenerate gamblers?
Yes, I yes, I did. Well, also just deviants in general with the
Yeah, well,
airplanes.
yeah. Just deviants in general. But now I have figured out a way for every single match that we watch on stream, you can gamble channel points. And I've literally raised a bunch of degenerate gamblers. It's
Yeah,
it's it's insane the battles that they have. I mean, now you can come in and if you're the first person to chat on stream, you become and if you collect enough first time chatters in during the week, you become the first chatter champion. I mean, the Twitch streams are going crazy.
they're popping off.
Yeah, especially last night. That's what was awesome about Raw being on Netflix and being live globally is we had so many people from the UK who support us and from Canada as well who had to get it at weird times as well.
Yeah.
They were supporting us and now with Netflix being at the same time globally, they honestly feel that sort of congregation of wrestling fan, especially on the Twitch stream. So please come check us out, twitch.tv/ringside rundown. It's a great time. I'm sure you can enjoy it. Even if you're not even a wrestling fan and you just happen to stumble upon this podcast, you can come hang out with us. It's a good time. You can also follow me on Twitter at Erik, ERIK, ringside_. Shay, I'm tired of talking. Tell them where they can get in touch with you.
You can find me on Twitter at Shailene Hickson 21. Just talking about a lot of things, mainly sports. I mean, probably not football for much longer, but just just be like that sometimes. But
you're
yeah,
you're so like you're so pessimistic about this
because I
whole
feel like if I don't have any expectations, if we actually beat them, I'll be genuinely surprised. I'd rather not get my hopes up. So, sometimes you got to temper your expectations a little bit, but yeah, it is what it is. It's fine.
all right, so make sure you guys follow Shay on Twitter and she'll give you a full-on meltdown, maybe not a meltdown, more maybe just a realization.
Yeah, yeah. Or I'm gonna have a meltdown if Dakota doesn't win the IC title next
There
week.
you go.
That'll
That's
be the
right.
meltdown.
That's right. The Dakota Kai Lyra Valkyria match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, the very first Women's Intercontinental Champion. You know how historic that is? The very first
Yeah.
Intercontinental Champion, Pat Patterson, one
Hmm.
of the greatest wrestling minds in all of wrestling history. A Hall of Famer. That it's a big accolade, and that's something that can be in the belt of Dakota Kai, but I mean, Lyra Valkyria is no slouch either.
No, let's just put it this way. There might not be an episode on Tuesday because I might not make it to Tuesday, depending on who wins. So we'll see.
Speaking of that episode, our next episode, before we get out of here, is going to be our Ask Us Anything episode. What does
Yeah.
that mean? Because really, you can ask us anything about pro wrestling on this podcast anyway, and that's how we format the show. But this episode is going to be similar to what we did on episode 100, where you can ask us anything about anything, whether it be our favorite movie, our favorite music artist, our favorite TV shows. If you want some really crappy life advice,
Tattoos.
yeah, tattoos, really crappy advice about tattoos and what
Okay,
tattoos
well
you
maybe
should
not
not.
then. Maybe not that,
No,
but
no.
like
Well, I can tell you what crappy tattoos not to get.
okay, fair. That's fair.
And just in case nobody asks, never get the name of a significant other
Oh,
tattooed on you.
don't
That
do the
is
curse.
that is
Oh.
bad luck. So there you
Ugh.
go. There you go. A little piece of what you can expect from our next episode 141. It'll be our Ask Us Anything 2 episode. Last episode was crazy. We got over like 30 questions. We had to split it up into two parts, and both parts were 2 hours long. It
Yeah.
was insane. But if you guys want to go crazy like that again, please, by all means, do so. Again, our next episode is going to be our Ask Us Anything episode. Doesn't have to be wrestling related. It can be Ask Us anything,
Anything.
whatever you want. But again, I don't know why you would want, but you can ask us for really crappy life advice. Well,
we could
I'll
do
give
we
you
could do the best.
I'll give you really bad life advice. I don't know why you would want life advice from me. But anyway, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. Thank you guys for checking out this episode for the 2024 Ringside Rundown Awards. So excited for what's going to go down in 2025 for Shay Hickson. My name is Erik Vasquez, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
See you later, guys.